Not to brag, but I am the #1 ball knower on YouTube.com.
Stop the cap.
As I record this, we are 1 month before the NFL draft, and I got to get my mock draft in. I will make one more mock draft a few days before the draft in case there's any big movements, trades, free agency, but here's how I feel right now. Round 1, pick 1. The Tennessee Titans take Travis Hunter. I'm kidding. There's really only 2 quarterback options that you would take here. That's Cam Ward or Shadeur Sanders. I think Cam Ward is better than Shadeur Sanders. I think Shadeur Sanders has probably an infinite ceiling. He's Deion Sanders' son. He certainly has all of the mental capabilities and support system that other players probably don't have. I see Shadeur Sanders as a boom or bust quarterback pick. And for that reason, I have the Titans taking Cam Ward because they would like to win some games. They would like a surefire good quarterback. And I think that's Cam Ward. Now, this is where it gets really weird for me. The Cleveland Browns. A lot of people have Shadeur Sanders going here. I cannot see the Cleveland Browns taking Shadeur Sanders. For the same reason I just said, Shadeur Sanders is absolutely the next best quarterback in the draft. There's no question. But Cleveland has a history of drafting quarterbacks with a very high pick and completely whiffing. They have done it more times than they would probably like to count. I think Cleveland would be happy taking basically a Jackson Dart later on in this draft and taking a guaranteed talented player here. I think the Cleveland Browns take Abdul Carter and they pair him with Myles Garrett. I think Abdul Carter, aside from Travis Hunter, is the most guaranteed talent in this draft. The only reason they don't take Travis Hunter is because they don't need him. I mean, I shouldn't say that. The Cleveland Browns would take anyone. If the Browns are not taking Shadeur Sanders, I see them taking Abdul Carter. I just can't see them risking another failed quarterback grab. I can't see him doing it. The New York Giants signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal. I believe the reason that the New York Giants signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal is because they plan to take a rookie quarterback. If Cam Ward's already gone to the Titans and the Browns took Shadeur, I think the Giants would probably take Abdul Carter. But if it shakes out like this, I think they're taking Shadeur Sanders. I think that's the reason you get Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal. You want a veteran, proven quarterback to teach your young rookie. Granted, it makes the Jameis Winston signing make no sense. I have no idea why they went and got Jameis Winston, but I like Shadeur Sanders to the Giants here. The New England Patriots just signed Stephon Diggs to a 3-year, $69 million deal. I think they take Travis Hunter. I feel like if there's any team that's actually going to utilize a two-way player, it's going to be #1, the New England Patriots. #2, Travis Hunter is a generational talent. What he was able to do on Colorado to win the Heisman as a two-way player, yes, you could argue that maybe Ashton Jeanty deserved the Heisman over him, but Travis Hunter is a miracle player. Patriots have their young quarterback. They just got Diggs at wide receiver. I think if they didn't get Diggs, I could see them maybe going for a Tedoroa McMillan here, but I got Travis Hunter going to the Giants. I think there's 2 good options for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's either T-Mac or Mason Graham. T-Mac is a freak. Tedoroa McMillan is like so physically gifted. He's gigantic. The Jaguars could take so many different players. They just lost Christian Kirk. They just lost Evan Engram. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually have no idea who the Jaguars starting wide receivers are right now. They still have Brian Thomas, so I feel like they wouldn't go T-Mac. Dude, but outside of Brian Thomas, this is a bizarre wide receiver room. You've got, oh yeah, they got De'Ami Brown. They signed De'Ami Brown to a 1-year, $10 million. So it's De'Ami Brown, Brian Thomas, and then Gabe Davis, Josh Cephas, Austin Trammell, Parker Washington, David White. I think they take Mason Graham. Now, as I've been making mock drafts and thinking about where players go, I always wanted Ashton Jeanty to end up on the Bears. I don't know why I'm like rooting for the Bears, but I kind of feel bad for them, I guess. And they've got Caleb Williams. They got that new offensive line. I thought Jeanty would fit in really well there, but I'm going to be honest. I don't see Ashton Jeanty falling that far. Ashton Jeanty damn near won the Heisman as a running back. He put up bonkers numbers. He kind of reminds me, he's not Barry. I know he's not Barry Sanders, but he reminds me of him. He's got that build. He's that 5'9", super shifty, deceptively good running back. I think he ends up on the Raiders. Raiders had virtually no real running back room all of last year. It was kind of just like whoever. No true running back one, and new head coach is Pete Carroll. I think Ashton Jeanty goes to the Raiders. You got Geno Smith to kind of fill in as your quarterback too. I think the Raiders end up with Ashton Jeanty. Jets could do so many things here. I do see T-Mac falling this far. It's so funny how the draft works. Like, in certain drafts, there's like 5 wide receivers going to the first 10 picks. I don't see T-Mac going for a little bit later. I think the Jets are going to take a tackle here. You can take Will Campbell, and I think there's, yeah, Armand Membu, the Mizzou kid. These are the 2 best tackles in the draft. I think Will Campbell is probably... I just hear so much more about Will Campbell, but I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you who's better out of Will Campbell and Armand Membu. I don't know tackles like that, but I got the Jets taking a tackle here. I honestly think both of these teams, the Panthers and the Saints, would really enjoy Tetairoa McMillan. I have T-Mac going to the Panthers. I am, number one, Bryce Young got written off so bad. People were absolutely trashing Bryce Young when the Panthers organization was just really difficult. It's tough. Adam Thielen putting up ridiculously solid stats with that Panthers team should show you that they can throw. They just need that one guy. And I think T-Mac would be that guy. I think the Saints would love to get T-Mac too, but I got T-Mac going here. Now, if the Panthers take T-Mac, I still think the Saints want a wide receiver. Rashid Shaheed is coming back from injury. Chris Olave is coming back from injury. I think the Saints do want a wide receiver. I also think the Saints would have wanted Ashton Genty. I think Alvin Kamara's has done his dues as a New Orleans Saint. I actually could see, I do find this interesting that PFF has Jahdae Barron as the highest ranked corner. I totally disagree with this. I think Will Johnson is the best corner in the draft. I think Will Johnson's a freak. I think if any single one of these teams took Will Johnson, they would be happy. Like, yes, you might want somebody else. You might need something else. Best player available, I like Will Johnson. I don't think Jahdae Barron's better. There's 2 things I could see the Saints doing. Ashton Genty and T-Mac are not available. That's Will Johnson or Malachi Starks. Saints, Tyrann Mathieu, I think is still a Saint, but Tyrann Mathieu is out of the league soon. He just can't continue to play at a high level. So you either replace him with a guy like Malachi Starks, or you take Will Johnson. Obviously, Marshawn Lattimore went to the Commanders. They got Kool-Aid McKinstry in last year's draft. I think they go Will Johnson. Will Johnson's just so good. I can't see Will Johnson falling out of the top 10. If I'm the Chicago Bears and Armand Membu is still on the board, I am taking him. I don't know, or Malachi Starks. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, would you take Malachi Starks or Armand Membu if you're the Bears? Armand Membu is a very good tackle, and those are hard to come by and expensive. I want to be stupid and say Tyler Warren, but I don't see Tyler Warren going here. The question I have is, where does Tyler Warren end up? His average draft position's 11, but I can't see any of these teams taking him. At least not right now. God, you could take so many things here for the Bears. I'm going Armand Membu to the Chicago Bears. Niners lost so many players. Oh my gosh, they lost so many players. They lost a lot of linebackers. They lost Dre Greenlaw for sure. Talanoa Hufanga. I personally would take defense if I'm the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not taking Tyler Warren. I like Malachi Starks. I don't like him that much. I like Jahdae Barron here if Will Johnson's off the board. I like Jihad Campbell. James Pierce Jr. has really fallen. Coming into this year, James Pierce Jr. was like a top 5 pick, and he just keeps dropping. Who's the Georgia edge rusher? Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker's the other guy I like a lot here. I'm going to go Jahdae Barron, but I could see them taking D-line. Cowboys will find a way to screw this up. In all seriousness, I think they need to pair somebody with CeeDee Lamb because Brandon Cooks is now out. Who is wide receiver 2 in Dallas? Of the available wide receivers, I think the way this pans out, it's going to be one of those scenarios where one of these 3 guys is a freak show generational talent and the other teams are just shooting themselves in the foot because they didn't get him. Out of Luther Burden, Emeka Egbuka, and Matthew Golden, somewhere in there is a freak show. Ugh, who do I like the most here? I'm not gonna lie, I really like Emeka Egbuka. More drafts have Matthew Golden going sooner, and I'm gonna trust that others know more than me. I'm gonna go Matthew Golden to the Dallas Cowboys, but I do think they take a wide receiver here. And then I think the Miami Dolphins are who take Malachi Starks. Miami Dolphins just lost Javon Holland in free agency. They've got to address that. Javon Holland was so good for that team. I think Malachi Starks is the best safety available. There's Nick Emenwari, there's Xavier Watts. Outside of that, there's a significant drop-off in the safety position. So I don't think anyone's going to reach beyond Malachi Starks and take someone else. So if you're going safety, you're going Malachi Starks in the first round. Colts will be the ones to take Tyler Warren. I don't know, there's a world where Tyler Warren doesn't fall this far. Teams really like to draft good tight ends. There's just teams have a big hard-on for tight ends. But Colts are a team that truly could use, and they use their tight end a lot, bro. The amount of times I've seen Mo Alley Cox get like a poverty touchdown on the Colts is crazy. I don't even remember who. I picked up some like waiver wire tight end for the Colts, and he had dropped like 3 touchdowns. I don't even remember who it was. I do think Falcons will go defensive. I'm going to be honest. I don't know anything about this kid. Marshall edge rusher Marshall edge rusher Mike Green. It's apparently a highly recruited edge rusher. I don't know. I do not know ball. I do know Jihad Campbell. I do know Jalen Walker. I do know Walter Nolan. I'm going to go Jihad Campbell here for the Falcons. It says they need wide receiver. I don't know that I agree with that. I think the Falcons are good with who they got, and if they want more players, maybe they go 2nd or 3rd round for it. Now, for the Arizona Cardinals, they signed Josh Sweat in free agency, Josh Sweat being pass rush that they desperately needed. I think they're going to double down on that. There's a good amount of options. You've got this Mike Green kid who I'll admit I don't know much about, but he's the 12th rank. His average draft position is 16. Outside of him, James Pierce Jr., I think would be a reach. There's Boston College's Donovan Ezeruaku. I do like Kenneth Grant a lot. I think, based on PFF here, I think they have Jalen Walker just grossly low. I think teams love the fact that a player played for Georgia and played well. I think that bodes so much better than playing for Marshall. I can't see that. It's hard in my brain. I know Randy Moss played at Marshall, but just hear me out. I'm going Jalen Walker here for the Arizona Cardinals. I have no idea why he's ranked 28th. I think Jalen Walker is very good. Bengals have to go defense. Bengals literally have to go defense. If they go anything else, I will be so frustrated. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm taking Mike Green. It's just based on the average draft position here. I can't tell you I know a lot about Mike Green, but I do think they go edge rusher or defensive lineman. That leaves Kenneth Grant, Mike Green, James Pierce Jr., this Donovan kid. And if you were gonna reach, maybe you'd go for a Walter Nolan here. Mykel Williams. A lot of edge rushers, but we're sending Mike Green right here. I'm going to have Kelvin Banks to the Seattle Seahawks. I think they build O-line. I mean, they got Cooper Kupp. They got Sam Darnold. They still have Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, maybe they'd go defense here, but I think they build O-line. Go Kelvin Banks to the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to send Mykel Williams to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They love their edge rushers. And I'm going to send Kenneth Grant to the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos defense is so good. Imagine adding a young, really solid interior defensive lineman, Kenneth Grant, to the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos are, I think they will double down on defense. I guess I just don't know who they take. If the Denver Broncos don't take one of the best defensive players available, they're not going to go running back in the first round because you are absolutely reaching. If you're not taking Ashton Genty, I think you're completely reaching in the first round for a running back. Who are the running backs that would be available? I think Caleb Johnson's in this draft. Omarion Hampton. Okay. Cam Scadaboo's average draft position is 62. I think whoever gets him in like the 2nd round will be a very happy team. Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Caleb Johnson. I don't think you take any of these guys in the first round. I guess Omarion Hampton's going on average at 24, but I wouldn't take it here. To me, you can get the running back in like the 4th round, and he'll do the same thing. You get the running back the 5th round, do the same thing. What I can definitely see them doing here, though, is wide receiver. Rather than Kenneth Grant, I could see them potentially going Luther Burden, Egbuka. One of the two. Good Lord, what would the Steelers do? What on earth would the Steelers do? I do think this is so funny that the rank for the quarterbacks, Milroe, Howard, Leonard, Dart, they all go down except the average draft position for Jackson Dart. Everybody thinks there's going to be a team that reaches on Jackson Dart. It's just interesting to see. You're not getting a quarterback in the first round if you're the Steelers. You no longer have Najee Harris. Steelers have historically really liked their running backs. I'm going to go Josh Simmons, Ohio State, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know. I mean, maybe you go Marion Hampton. I just think that's a bad call in the first round. Okay, this is complete Jim Harbaugh shit, but I think the Chargers are going to go tight end. If Tyler Warren is not available, they're going to go Colston Loveland. He's a Michigan guy. Jim Harbaugh's on the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh likes his tight ends. They do need a tight end. I mean, they do want a wide receiver too, but I don't know. I mean, they hit. Lad McConkey's been good. Maybe they still believe. This guy drops the ball 24/7. Why can't I think of his name? Quentin Johnston. Sorry, I don't know why my whole brain just shut up. Here's a team that I think takes a wide receiver because the Green Bay Packers have like 5 wide receiver 3s on their team. They just signed McCole Hardman out of free agency. You got Jada Reed, Christian Watson. It's just such a weird wide receiver group. I think at some point they got to get a wide receiver 1, a true wide receiver 1. I actually think Emeka Egbuka has a higher chance to do that than Luther Burden. I think Emeka Egbuka is a freak. Also, Ohio State has such a good track record of producing absolute monster wide receivers. I'm taking Emeka Egbuka here. Vikings go Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan, best interior D lineman still available. They've got edge rush, and they don't reach on running back. Texans got to go wide receiver, don't they? The Texans just lost Diggs. You got to go wide receiver for your boy. You extended Derek Stingley. You've got CJ Stroud. Get him the best wide receiver available, and the best wide receiver available at this point is Luther Burden. Luther Burden to the Texans, Egbuka to the Packers, and Tetero and McMillan to the Panthers. This is where the wide receivers ended up. It's a little bizarre here. I'm not gonna lie. I take James Pierce Jr. if I'm the Rams. This shows that their needs are linebacker, corner. James Pierce Jr., size-wise, kind of reminds me of Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau in college, edge rusher, right end, defensive end. Kayvon Thibodeau in the league is more of a linebacker. He kind of does both. James Pierce Jr. is, I think he might be the exact same size as Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau is 6'5", 258. James Pierce Jr. is 6'5", 243. And you'd imagine he gets to the league, he might put on some pounds, right? So yes, I see whatever team takes James Pierce Jr., I think they're going to use him in a edge rushing linebacker situation. I don't see him as a true right end. I got the Rams go James Pierce Jr. Dude, the Rams did such a good job with their young edge rusher. Is it Byron Young? Is that his name? They did a really good job with him. I got to admit, when I truly don't know anything about a player, I don't know anything about Donovan Ezeuruiku. I just don't know this guy. Boston College edge rusher. Apparently, he's predicted to be going in the first round. If he makes it this far, I see the Ravens taking him. I do see the Ravens taking a defensive player, likely an edge rusher. I am very much hoping that the Detroit Lions, I pray the Detroit Lions take a defensive player. I actually like the idea of us, I don't want to say reaching, but taking a Derek Harmon or a Shamar Stewart, a Nick Scorton, a Darius Alexander, any of these guys. Because you got to think, Aiden Hutchinson attracts so much attention. If you're going to double team somebody on the Lions D-line, you've got to double Aiden Hutchinson. I think it's going to leave a lot of solo pass rush situations for a young rookie, which could be awesome if one of these guys turns out to be solid. Out of the guys available, I'm going to say Shamar Stewart, solely based on the fact that his average draft position is higher. I do like Derek Harmon out of Oregon. I like him a lot. I also think we would be better off with an interior defensive lineman than an edge rusher. I would love to see a stud big body D lineman, but Shamar Stewart probably shouldn't have fallen this far anyway. So we'll go Shamar Stewart here. I actually do think the Commanders will take a running back. I can see Amarian Hampton going to the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders had a very washed Austin Eckler looking pretty solid on that offense. That offense is electric. I think they need some young, fresh legs at running back. And Amarian Hampton, he goes that far. I think if Washington can't get him, they will end up drafting a running back somewhere in this draft. There's a lot. I will say, like, in the later rounds, there is a lot of running back talent. This class, running back-wise, I think is so good. Damian Martinez, Devin Neal. I mean, these are like fifth-round guys. Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins on the same team. Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson was so scary in college this year. The fact that he's like a second-round running back is crazy to me. The kid was so good. Dylan Sampson's super solid, and Scadaboo's an anomaly. He's an interesting build linebacker, an interesting running style, but I think he's going to be really good wherever he ends up. So if Commanders go Amarian Hampton here, or if they don't, I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're going to have so many good players to choose from. I've got the Buffalo Bills going Derek Harmon. I've got the Kansas City Chiefs going Gray Zabel or Josh Connerly. I don't know the difference between these two tackles, but I can see the Chiefs either taking a defensive lineman or a tackle, and that's it. Apparently, this kid's good. I don't know it, but I think a tackle would be a very Chiefs play here. And then the Philadelphia Eagles. My final pick for the mock draft. They did lose. They lost Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. I think they do have to take an edge rusher. We'll go with Nick Scorton, Texas A&M. And this is my final mock draft. PFF is going to give me a draft grade, I guess. It didn't feel like they actually gave me a grade, or maybe I got to pay them to get my grade. PFF, you think I give a shit what grade you give me? My YouTube comment section is already going to tell me how dog shit this is. I don't need your opinion on it. All right, gentlemen, here's my closed out first round mock draft. Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Shadeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Ashton Jeanty, Will Campbell, T-Mac, Will Johnson, Membu, Baron Golden, Malachi Starks, Tyler Warren, Jahad Campbell, Jalen Walker, Mike Green, Kelvin Banks, Michael, Kenneth, Josh Simmons, Colston Loveland, Egbuka, Walter Nolan, Luther Burden, James Pierce, Donovan Ezeuruiku, Shamar Stewart, Amarian Hampton, Derek Harmon, Gray Zabel, Nick Scorton. I do want to close this out by saying my favorite players, like my favorite landing spots for players. I think Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders is sick. I think Pete Carroll's going to have a blast with Ashton Jeanty. I really hope they go with that. I think 10-year-old McMillan with Bryce Young will be super fun to watch. So I'm really excited about that too. I think any team who gets Will Johnson is going to be super happy. I think Colston Loveland on the Chargers. I think Harbaugh's going to love to have a Michigan guy in the building. I think he'll end up putting up really solid numbers. And I think Amari and Hampton to the Commanders. They just did so much with such a mediocre running back room. I really want to see like a young freak running back have a good time at that team. If somehow Ashton Genty could end up a Commander, that would be literally insane, but there's no way. Barring a like nuclear trade, that's not going to happen. All right, this is my mock draft. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a blast to make, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.